Hey guys, welcome back to English Daily News Report. I'm your host, Paul. Today's topic is exercise close to bedtime may be bad for sleep. Well, if you exercise close to bedtime, you might want to stick around and read this article with me. First, we need to dive into today's vocabulary. Let's get started. Let's review today's vocabulary quickly. Vocabulary number 1, intensity. The quality of being very strong or forceful. High-intensity interval training is very popular among athletes. Vocabulary number 2, negatively. In a bad or negative way. The president reacted negatively to the reporter's comment. Vocabulary number 3, review. To carefully examine or consider something. We are in the process of reviewing the terms of the deal. Vocabulary number 4 is session. A period of time in which a particular activity takes place. Our football training session went for longer than expected. And the final vocabulary word is a phrase. The phrase is in general. It means usually or as a whole. In general, German cars are very reliable. And the second example for in general is, I don't think the community in general will support the mayor's plan. Cool, we made it through the vocabulary. Now it's time to read the article together. Are you ready? I am. Let's do it. Exercise close to bedtime may be bad for sleep. Research has found that taking part in high-intensity exercise less than 2 hours before you go to bed may negatively affect how well you sleep. Exercise is known to improve sleep in most cases. However, researchers from Concordia University in Canada wanted to find out if the time you exercise could affect how well you sleep too. The researchers reviewed 15 studies to see how one session of exercise before bed affected the sleep of healthy adults aged 18 to 50. Their results were published in Sleep Medicine Reviews. The studies had data from a total of 194 people. The researchers looked at whether people exercised during the early or late evening and how long they waited before going to bed. Less than 2 hours, around 2 hours, or 2 to 4 hours. The researchers also looked at how fit the study participants were, how long they spent exercising, and how intense their exercise was. It was found that in general, when exercise ended less than 2 hours before bed, people slept worse. Participants who exercised too close to when they went to bed took longer to go to sleep and slept for a shorter amount of time. However, the study also found that intense exercise done between 30 to 60 minutes over 2 hours before bed helped people fall asleep sooner and sleep better. It was also best to exercise at the same time each day. Cycling was found to be the best exercise to help with sleep. All right, that's it for the article. If you felt that I read that article a little bit too slow, you could always change the speed, right over here, and you could speed it up. If it was too fast, you could also slow it down so that way you can follow along with me a little bit better. The choice is yours. You can do whatever you want with this video. All right, it's time to move on to the next exercise. I'll see you in just 1 second. Time for exercise number 3, the questions. Let's start with question number 1. Question number 1, how many studies did the researchers review? All right, I hope you took some time to answer the question. The answer to question number 1 is 15 studies. That's how many studies they did. Question number 2, what impact did exercising too close to bedtime have on the participants' sleep? The answer to question number 2 is when exercise ended less than 2 hours before bed, people slept worse. Question number 3, what is the best exercise to help with sleep, according to the study? And the answer to question number 3 was cycling was found to be the best exercise before bed. All right, I hope you got all the answers to exercise number 3 right. Now it's time for exercise 4, the discussion, where I will read the question and I will give you my own opinion. My opinion is meant to help you practice creating your own opinion. You can use my expressions and my phrases. You can use the same way I start my sentences and how I fill my sentences. Just copy me. Write down or practice saying your own opinion. All right, let's do it. Question number 1. What are your thoughts on the study's findings? So what are my thoughts on the study's findings? I find it to be pretty fascinating because I actually learned this about myself a long time ago. I used to exercise before bed, but I noticed that when I did that, I would sleep much later than I needed to, and I was waking up much later than I wanted to. So it wasn't shocking to me. It was something that I was already familiar with. But I still find it really, really cool that scientists and researchers are also starting to say that this is not healthy. Question number 2. Do you find it surprising that exercising too close to bedtime may negatively impact sleep quality? Why? Why not? Do I find it surprising? Nope. And I just mentioned that a minute ago. I was aware of this. But there was also some really cool things that I found interesting about it, which was like the bicycle and the exercise is much better and stuff like that. But I was already aware of the situation. Were you aware? Do you exercise before bed? Let me know in the comments down below. All right, next question. Question number 3. What time of day do you usually exercise? Do you always exercise at the same time? This is a great question. So I've exercised in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. I've even exercised 3 times a day, and I used to do that for around 6 months. I love walking in the morning because it's the best way to get active first thing. But I really exercise the most at lunch, and that's when I do a lot of my training, like calisthenics, which is body weight exercises, but I do use some equipment. Exercising in the evening is all right, like after work, but then I get a little bit too hungry around that time. My energy levels are a little bit lower. I really just think about having dinner and relaxing. But I do sometimes exercise in the evening. It really depends on the day and how my morning or my lunch routine went. Question number 4. Do you prefer high or low intensity workouts? Why? Do I prefer high intensity or low intensity? I prefer both. They are a must. But which one do I do the most? Well, it depends on your body type if you're going to answer that question. I'm very lean and already muscular. So my main focus and my main goal is low intensity, but I also do calisthenics where I'm utilizing a lot of my body weight and muscles and strength. I do high repetitions, and I exercise for around 1 hour to an hour and 30 minutes a day. So that really depends as well. And question number 5, do you own a bike? If so, do you use it for exercise? If not, do you know anyone who cycles? No, I don't own a bike, but I do have some friends on Facebook that do. They are cyclers, and I see them posting pictures of it all the time, going to the track, or they're going here, they're going there, on the road, in a group, in a team. That's pretty cool. It's not my style, though. I used to ride bikes when I was younger, but it's something I haven't done in a very long time. Do you ride bikes? Let me know in the comments down below if you ride and how many times a week you ride your bike. It's time for exercise number 5, the last discussion. Question number 1, do you ever have trouble getting to sleep? Sure, I definitely have trouble getting to sleep some nights. Some nights more than others, right? Sometimes I sleep like a baby all night. And then sometimes I'm tossing and turning and rolling around, and I wake up and I go, oh, I wish it wasn't 6:30 already. We all have nights like that. What's the cause? I try to determine this all the time. I think a lot. Sometimes I'm an overthinker. I also drink a lot of coffee. You know, I don't drink coffee after 12 though. So that's the key factor there. But I do. I have some nights where I don't sleep well. I know you do too. Question number 2. How many hours of sleep do you need in order to feel fully rested? I try to get at least 8 hours. If it's 7, I still feel all right. If it's less than 7, that's when my day is, a little groggy. I'm a little irritable. I don't want to do too much. That's when I feel like really unmotivated. I am very adamant about getting adequate sleep. I need to make sure I get my sleep. It's the most important factor next to a healthy diet and food. You got to make sure you have enough sleep. Question number 3. If you didn't have to go to work or school, what time would you get up? Why? Well, I don't think I would change my sleep pattern, my sleep schedule, what time I go to bed or what time I wake up, determined by what my position is in school or work. Getting up at 6:30 is what I do every single day. It doesn't matter what day it is. It could be Saturday and Sunday. Going to bed at 9:30 or 10 is what I do on Saturday and Sunday as well. I don't think about going out. I don't think about staying up late. I don't think about sleeping in. I wake up, I start my day, I do it, I go. So having work or school to determine if that changes, absolutely not. I would just continue doing what I do now. Question 4. Do you ever take naps during the day? Why? Why not? My friends ask me this question, and I'm also a teacher online, right? And my students ask me the same question. Do I ever take naps? I ask them this question as well. I do not take naps, ever. If I do take a nap, it's probably because of a poor sleep pattern that night. Maybe my cycle is off. Maybe I'm just feeling a little bit ill or under the weather. But 99% of the time throughout the week, I am up all day, sleep all night, and I never consider taking a nap. The only time I really might take a nap is if you sit me down in front of the TV. I'm not entertained by the TV very much. It's hard for me to stay tuned into the TV, and I might pass out because I'm actually bored, I'm just kind of like, okay, if I'm going to lay here, I'm going to go to bed. What about you? Do you take naps? How many naps a week do you take and what time? Let me know in the comments down below. And for the final question, question number 5, the worst thing in the world is to try to sleep and not to. F. Scott Fitzgerald. What do you make of this statement? The worst thing in the world is to try to sleep and not to. Definitely. I know everybody feels the same as me when I tell you this. You spend the whole day doing whatever it is you need to do. You're constantly thinking about all these things. You're thinking about life. You're thinking about money. Thinking about what to eat. So you go the whole day thinking and you're doing all that stuff and you think you thought of everything. And then it's bedtime. And then you lay down and you're like, man, I'm tired. But then your brain goes, hold on. We need to have a chat. And then you go, oh, please, not tonight. But it happens. Your brain wants to talk and you lay there and you're trying to fall asleep, but your brain says no and it says, let's figure this stuff out. It's a good thing and it's a bad thing. That's why I go to bed earlier than most people, is because I know that that's going to happen. So I try to counteract it. I go to bed early, I lay in bed, I think about those things, I process it, and it helps me get to bed sooner, and that way I get a full night's sleep. What about for you? What does that statement mean? Let me know in the comments down below. Hey, you made it to the very end. Excellent. Now it's time for the word of the day. I know you're excited about that. If you're familiar with the word of the day, cool. If you're not, the word of the day is usually some sort of slang or idiom or even a phrase that we still use today that's related to today's topic. And that word is coming up right now. Stay tuned. Yes, you made it to the word of the day. I appreciate that, right? All right, today's word of the day is crash. And what does crash mean? Well, crash is another word that we use that means sleep. Crazy, right? I know, you're thinking about two cars literally crashing into each other, right? So that makes crash a slang word because it's not even related to that at all. What you're actually doing is you're crashing into the bed or onto the sofa because you're tired. You're going to bed. So how do we use it, right? Well, here's an example sentence. Dude, I'm going to crash. See you later. So that means maybe he's going home, or maybe he lives in the same house as his friend and they're going to bed. It could be something like that. Like I always tell my wife, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna crash. You go ahead and stay up and watch TV. Another way is like if you're going to a friend's house and like you're planning to stay there, but you didn't ask yet. You could also say, is it okay if I crash at your place tonight? That way you're asking them if you can sleep over there, but you're using the slang, the crash word. And that's what I naturally do. I never really ask to sleep. I always use the word crash with my friends or my family, or even people that are like new friends where I know if I say that to them, they know exactly what I mean. So I'm like, hey, can I crash on your sofa? Or if you want to invite somebody, you could say, hey, you can crash on my couch. That's not a problem. Or hey, let's go ahead and let's crash at the hotel tonight and we'll drive back tomorrow. Crash is that easy to use. It's so useful. You could start using it today. All right. Well, that's it for the word of the day. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, click that like button. If you haven't already, subscribe and turn on bell notifications so you don't miss the next word of the day. All right. All right. I'll see you guys later. See ya.